barrel containing 12 apples. Express the proportion of rotten apples as a simplified fraction as an exact percentage. Well, to me, 3 rotten apples containing 12, that's 3 out of 12, which is a ratio which is 1/4. Okay, and an exact percentage, well, to turn a fraction into percentage you need to multiply it by 100. 1 times 100 is 100, and 100 divided by 4 is 25%. Alright, happy days. Let's go on to question 2. A prize fund of €1,200 distributed as following. Okay, and the remainder for the third prize. Well, the quickest and easiest way to do this is to do 1,200 multiplied by a half, which you all know is going to be 1,200 divided by 2, which is €600 for first prize. Okay, regards second prize, however, we're going to get 1,200 multiplied by 2/5. So 1,200 multiplied by 2/5, so 5. So we're going to multiply. We're going to get 2,400, and we're going to have to divide that by 5. And then, because 2 times 1,200 is 2,400, then we divide that by 5, and we get 5 into 24 goes 4 times, remainder 4. 5 into 40 goes 8 times, carry the 0. So that's €480 for part 2. Now, there's 2 ways to calculate these 2 questions. Okay, the first way would be for part 1, we can calculate how much the third prize is worth by simply taking away. You could get your €1,200, and you could take away 600, and then you could take away your 480, and what you'd be left with there would be €120, I believe. Yeah, you'd be 120. So let's do it one at a time, okay, given that we have certain things going on. Okay, 1,200 take away 600, 600 take away 480 is 0, borrow the 1, so that makes that 59 essentially. So then carry the 1 there, so 100 and, sorry guys, I'm actually losing the plot here. Let's go back to the start. It's 120, because 0 take away 0 is nothing. Borrow the 1, 120, because 10 take away 8 is 120. So we know third place is 120, but it's 120 divided by 1,200, and 120 divided by 1,200, well, you guessed it, it's actually a tenth. So your proportion was a tenth. Another way of doing that, to figure out that it's a tenth, is you could get 1, take away a half, take away 2/5. You need a common denominator. Common denominator is 10. So if you multiply 1 by 10 on the bottom, you must multiply by 10 on the top. 1 is the same as 10 over 10. To turn 2 into 10, you need to multiply the bottom by 5 and the top by 5. You get 5 over 10. And finally, to multiply 2/5 into 10, you need to multiply the bottom by 2 and the top by 2, and you get 4 tenths. 10 tenths take away 5 tenths, take away 4 tenths equals 1 tenth. You get the same answer either way. And then 1,200 multiplied by 1 tenth is in fact €120 either way. Okay, question 3. In a survey, the proportion of people who watched a football match on television was 3 in 8. What proportion did not watch the match? If I say 3 in every 8 people watched the match, well then you can be assured that 5 in every 8 people didn't watch the match. Now, here's the way you gotta look at this. 5 shares or 5 parts of the people didn't watch the match. So 5 parts of the people equals 2,400 or 24,000. And 3 parts is how many people there did watch the match. And there's 8 parts in total to represent how many people were surveyed. So if 5 parts is 240,000, divide 240,000 by 5. And you can find out what 1 part is. So divide into, goes 4 times remainder 4, and it goes 8 times. So that's 48,000 people is equivalent to 1 part. Then you can multiply this by 3 to find out what 3 parts is. So multiply it by 3, you get 0, 0, 0. 3 times 24 is 4 carry the 2. 3 times 4 is 12, plus the 2, 44. So 144,000 people did actually watch the match. Is that okay? Okie dokie. Another way to do it, guys, would be that if you know that 5 parts, or if we say 5/8 of the people didn't watch the match, that's 5 parts out of 8. So you could say you could find 1 part, which is 48,000, and then you could find 8 parts by multiplying it by 8. So when you multiply this by 8, you get 0, 0, 0. 8 times 8 is 64. 4 carried is 6. 8 times 4 is 32. But plus 6 is 38. So there's 384,000 people in total. It's the total amount of people interviewed. But if you take away the 5 parts, so 8 parts subtract 5 parts will give you 3 parts. And that will give you your 144,000. Okay, question 4. Now please remember, you have 8 parts out of 11 parts here. That's what 8 out of 11 means. And you know that 8 parts is 400. That means 1 part will be 400 divided by 8, which is 50. And this means 11 parts would be 50 multiplied by 11, which is 550. Okay. And finally, question 5. When the cyclist has traveled a distance of 17 kilometers, she had completed 3/5, 3/8 of her journey. What was the length of the journey? Well, 5 parts is 17 kilometers. We want to find out what 8 parts is, because 8 parts is the entire fraction. To find out what 1 part is, we need to divide 17 divided by 5. 0.000. Okay, so 17 divided by 5 goes 3 times to get 15. Remainder 2. 20 divided by 5 is 4. So we're talking about 1 part is 3.4 kilometers. Now you have to find out what 8 parts is, so we need to multiply that by 8. So 8 times 4 is 32, 2 carried 3. 8 times 3 is 24, 24 plus 3 is 27. So 27.2 kilometers. Okay guys, so that is exercise 8.2, questions 1 to 5.